Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah, all praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that today our topic is something that's going to really send ripples everywhere, given that the month of Sha'ban is going to start very soon. Next week, people are going to look for the Hilal for the month of Sha'ban. And just like how we commence our month of Ramadan, we want people to establish this criteria for every Islamic month. The effort is reviving a sunnah where people go out to do the observation of the Hilal. And it has been many years have gone by that this criteria of encouraging, motivating people to go out to establish the sighting of the Hilal has been established here in the UK. And our brother Qamaruddin, who for many years now who has done an extensive research on the topic of moon sighting. He has now traveled to Saudi Arabia, but while he was here, he was involved and helping and supporting ulama, wifaqul ulama, batli ulama. Many ulama had also visited the York Astronomical Society and had actually conducted practical observation of the Hilal. Brother Qamaruddin right now is in Saudi Arabia, and we are fortunate enough that he is now going to share with us some very important information about moon sighting conducted there in Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Qamaruddin.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, we are so fortunate indeed to have a live connection with yourself, stay in such a place which we call the Holy Land. And while we are sitting here, we have great lot of ulama who would like to listen to your practical observation of Hilal while you are there in Saudi Arabia. And also, can you highlight the current criteria of the IQRA calendar, and is there any progress in the revising of this calendar?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. First of all, I have been in contact with the Saudi Hilal committees for many years, collecting moon sighting news, and I've met them at conferences. Like we visited Abu Dhabi in 2010. However, I wanted to have the opportunity to practically visit some of the locations they do the observation. And this was not possible just coming for Umrah or Hajj. So I've taken a small project here for a short while, which allows me the opportunity to visit the Hilal committees in different locations. And I've been to a number of them, including Dammam, Riyadh, Shakra, Medina, and various other places. And mashallah, the brothers are very sincere, and the scholars are knowledgeable in their field. However, as you know, they go out to look for the moon according to the date of the Qura calendar, which is pre-calculated on the birth of the moon and if the moon set after the sunset. And this was the case for many years until this year there has been a slight change. That is, if there is no sighting on the 29th day, as happened last month, then they will ask for them to look for it a day later than the Qura. This is something new which did not happen before. The other point is that there are a couple of locations in Saudi Arabia near Riyadh where few people, 2-3 people, they always claim early sighting. And this surprises everyone, all the experts. Sometimes the moon is impossible to be seen even with telescope. And if there may be 10 people looking for it, and if one of those early sighters, like Khudairi, says, I saw it, they simply take it down and says, that's it, the requirement has been fulfilled, and so let's go along with that. So the difference with that to that of the Hanafi fiqh is that there isn't a requirement of group sighting if the sky is clear. So this is the main cause of the problem. Otherwise, they are very regular with sighting every month. They started with 5-6 committees in year 2000 or 1999, and now this is increased to 9 committees for all months. The all months only started from 2010. Before that, they used to only go on the months of Ibadah. But we have campaigned rigorously that that Allah Ta'ala wants us to look for the moon every month, as you are aware in Surah Tawbah. And so Alhamdulillah, they now look for it every month. But unfortunately, they do not declare the month according to the committee's observation other than at the time of Ibadah. So no one gets to officially get to know what the results of the observation is.
Yes, indeed. Now, what I want to clarify that you have rightly pointed out that the observation is done for every Islamic month. So there is no question about carrying out a physical observation. But declaration is only made for 3 months of the year. Is that correct?
Yes. So this will be the month of Ibadah. It will be Ramadan, Eidul Fitr, and Eidul Adha.
So now, after the month of Ramadan, obviously now we are going to enter into the month of Sha'ban. So there is going to do observation, but not, it will be declared on the Qura calendar date. So the question is, verify and clarify. You know, this petition that was created, what is the outcome? Are the Riyadh authorities seriously looking at the petition which is asking for a change of the Qura criteria?
I cannot comment on that from an official point of view, but unofficially I have met the Ministry of Justice officials as well as Hilal committee members, and their response is very positive. They also feel that this is something that they need to improve upon, but the system here is complicated and it takes time, and they're saying we are working on it and we'll try to improve it. And I think the fact that last month they went out one day after the actual date of the Qura is a positive sign. But the progress is slow, so the petition has certainly been a trigger for them to look at it seriously. And in fact, personally, they have said that they have felt there was something wrong with their system, but they needed some help from outside, and this petition with so many scholars and public has given them encouragement to look into it further. So I think we should continue to support the petition on change.org. And also...
so Jazakallah khairan, I just want to know where you're going to be for the month of Sha'ban, and you're going to be there in Ramadan. Will you be joining the moon sighting committee for the month of Sha'ban and Ramadan?
Well, the month looking for the moon of Sha'ban is very near. So I will be joining one of the Hilal committees to look for the moon of Sha'ban, inshallah ta'ala.
And where will we be able to find your report? Will you be sending your report to the...
I will put it on the IQRA website, no problem, and as I do every month. So if anybody wants to know our moon sighting report from Saudi Arabia, they need to go to IQRaproject.org and just look for the month, and they will see the report, inshallah.
So, Jazakallah khairan, Brother Qamaruddin, and we are really grateful that you have actually clarified and made us understand that there is progress, there is improvement, but now the question that we have for the ulama here in the UK.
One final point I want to mention, if you allow me.
Yes, go ahead.
There has been some rumors, probably from moonsighting.com in USA, that the Saudi skies are pristine, clear, desert sky, and therefore they can always sight the moon when it's impossible everywhere. And this has been copied by those who follow the Qura. In my practical experience, this is not true. Saudi desert skies suffer from a lot of sandstorms. When I traveled from Dammam to Riyadh by the train, the trucks are covered by the dust and the sand, which has to be removed by special equipment. And also it suffers from clouds. So only in winter few months it is clear sky, but most of the summer, autumn and spring, the weather is pretty bad. And technically there is something called AOD, the optical depth, which does not even allow very high power telescope or CCD imaging to see the moon because of the atmospheric condition. So it is not true to say that the desert skies are always clear.
So is this true for all the locations in Saudi Arabia, or you only referring to, as you said, we traveled from Dammam to Riyadh, because most of the sighting reports we get from
most of the locations are subject to the weather conditions. There isn't a single one which is always clear throughout the year, no.
All right. So that is very important, useful information, and we hope that you could send your report and also the photos that you have been sharing. May Allah Ta'ala reward you abundantly. And I think it's really useful that we have somebody who is joining the moon sighting committees there and sending us accurate information. Jazakallah khairan, Qamruddin.
Jazakallah khair.
And we would hope to contact you later on. We now come back to Imam Shu'aib. Imam Shu'aib, what we have heard from Qamruddin, and I mean, why can't we just follow the Qura calendar and make life easy for all of us? Then we won't be sitting here and having a discussion on this. Because at the end of it, they are following and they are going out every month and they are looking for the moon.
I think just to clarify before we go ahead with that question,
yes.
The calendar, Hizbul Ulama, or the central moon sighting calendar that we showed, it was the 24th of January. 24th of January 2011.
So we had December 2011 and January 2012.
Yeah, no. It was a...
Yes.
Yeah, 24th of... Yeah, the month...
The month, which was... it was Safar and Rabi al-Awwal. So when you came to the end of the month of Safar...
It was the 24th of January.
That was the 24th of January, yes.
And the first was also 24th of January.
And the first was also 24th of January.
So 24th of January.
So 24th of January had two dates.
29 and 1.
29th Safar and 1 of Rabi al-Awwal.
Which would mean that Safar had 28 days.
So that really means that Safar had 28 days. Yes. So that is one of the example that you have shared with us. This calendar, you said, Hizbul Ulama follows the Qura calendar.
That's right.
But previously, as far as I understand, it used to say subject to the sighting of the moon.
That's right.
So how do you say it's following Qura calendar?
But now, because it's actually written on the calendar, that it's according to Qura.
So we need to see if it's written on the calendar.
Although even now the claim may be that we don't follow the Qura calendar, we actually follow actual sighting. We do not believe in following astronomy or taking help from astronomy.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there are so many people who say that we don't believe in taking help from astronomy.
All right.
But yet we saw that I think probably a month ago when we had the solar eclipse, and those people who claim that you can't take any help from astronomical organizations, and we are an ummi ummah, and the claim was there. But despite that, we see that just about each and every masjid had announced 1 week before. So I would like to know, I mean, it does make sense. How did people know that eclipse was going to take place after 1 week? So that would mean that in reality, everyone's taking help from astronomy, although they are claiming the opposite.
Yes. So that's a very valid, important point.
And the other thing is, with the Qura calendar, although you might say that where the month of ibadat are concerned, we will revert to a sighting calendar. But the fact of the matter is that there are people who do like to fast on the fast that are known as Ayyam Beez, the days of Beez, which is 13th, 14th, and 15th of the month. And as you just heard from Brother Qamruddin as well, it's not necessary that the Qura calendar will be in accordance with the sighting-based calendar. So which would mean that people would be fasting on the 12, 13, and 14. Hence, I think the safest method will be to actually follow the Wifaqul Ulama calendar. The reason being that Wifaqul Ulama decide each and every month throughout the 12 months in accordance with actual sighting.
But what I want to clarify, what if there are so many fatwa? maybe we can bring Mufti Ashfaq in, because you know the fatwa that are saying it is totally valid to follow Saudi Arabia. So this can be an issue if you want to just.
I mean, I would ask Mufti Saab as well that initially when people left Morocco and they came on to Saudi Arabia, then there were edicts that were sought from the ulama and the muftiyan from the Indian subcontinent, and they did give permission at that time that you can't follow Saudi Arabia. So why the reason now the change? I think Mufti Sahib is in a better position to answer that question.
Ask this question in Urdu because Mufti Sahib will explain to us.
तो मुफ्ती साहब एक ज़माना वो रहा कि सब मोरक्को ही के मुताबिक चलते थे, लेकिन फिर कोई ऐसा मसला हुआ जिसकी वजह से यहाँ के उलमा ने हमारे हिंदू पाक के मुफ्तियान को इस्तिफ्ता भेजे और उनसे सवाल किया कि ये हमारे मसाइल है, तो तकरीबन वहाँ के सभी इदारे ने सऊदीया की इत्तिबा की इजाज़त दे दी। तो अब ये वाकई ये सवाल बिल्कुल जायज़ सवाल है कि अब क्या मसला है, क्या वाक़या पेश आया कि अब आप लोग जो है और हम लोग अब इनकार कर रहे कि नहीं अब सऊदीया के मुताबिक मत चलो।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। देखिए, सबसे पहले तो ये देखा जाएगा कि जिस वक्त ये फतावा पूछे गए, सवाल रखा गया मुफ्तियान किराम के सामने, तो सवाल में ये सूरत हाल लिखी गई थी कि सऊदी अरब में किस तरीक़े के मुताबिक ऐलान किया जाता है। तो ये लिखा गया था कि वहाँ बाकायदा रुयत होती है, रुयत का अहतमाम किया जाता है, शहादत लेने का अहतमाम किया जाता है और उसकी बुनियाद पर फ़ैसले किए जाते हैं। जब ये जवाब आया तो फिर मुफ्तियान किराम ने इजाज़त दे दी कि अगर वाक़यातन ये जो सवाल में लिखा गया है कि रुयत और शहादत की बुनियाद पर फ़ैसला होता है, तो फिर चूँकि सऊदी अरब आपके मशरिक़ में वाक़ है, आप लोग मग़रिब में हैं, इसलिए आपके लिए उस पर अमल करना दुरुस्त है। लेकिन सूरत हाल मुख्तलिफ रही। बाद में ये पता चला कि ये महज हिसाब की बुनियाद पर तैयार करदा प्री कैलकुलेटेड उम्मुल कुरा कैलेंडर है, उस पर अमल कर रहे हैं। दूसरा एक सवाल मैं कर रहा हूँ, क्या इन मुफ्तियान किराम ने जिन्होंने फतवा दिया है कि सऊदी अरब की रुयत पर अमल करना दुरुस्त है, अपने मुल्कों में ख़ुद इस पर अमल किया है? इसका जवाब ये मिलता है कि नहीं किया है। मशहूर शख्सियत नाबग़े रोज़गार चीफ़ जस्टिस हज़रत मौलाना मुफ्ती तकी उस्मानी साहब मद्दज़िल्लुल आली अपनी किताब इनामुल बारी शरह बुखारी में लिखते हैं, लिखा है हज़रत ने कि सऊदी अरब का मौक़िफ़ यह है कि हम सिर्फ़ शहादत देखेंगे, चाहे अक़ली तौर पर चाँद नज़र आना नामुमकिन हो, और उसकी नतीजा ये होता है कि बकसरत वहाँ ये सूरत हाल पेश आती है कि चाँद का नज़र आना नामुमकिन है, चाँद बल्कि अभी तक पैदा भी नहीं हुआ और शहादतें आ गई, और उन शहादतों की बुनियाद पर रमज़ान शुरू हो गया, उन शहादतों की बुनियाद पर ईद भी हो गई, और सऊदी के मुकाबले में दूसरे मुल्कों में 2 दिन का फ़र्क हो जाता है। और चूँकि हम ये मौक़िफ़ सही नहीं समझते, मुफ्ती साहब लिख रहे हैं कि हम ये मौक़िफ़ सही नहीं समझते, इसलिए उस पर अमल नहीं करते, वरना सीधी सी बात है कि सऊदी अरब के फ़ैसले पर हम ख़ुद पाकिस्तान में भी अमल कर सकते थे। नीज़ दारुल देवबंद के मुफ्ती ज़ैनुल इस्लाम साहब कासमी जो इलाहाबाद के हैं, उन्होंने अभी ताज़ा शुमारे जो निदाए शाही मुरादाबाद से शाया होता है, उसमें ये लिखा है हज़रत ने कि सऊदी अरब की रुयत पर हिंदुस्तान के लिए अमल करना सही नहीं है। सऊदी अरब की रुयत हिंदुस्तान वालों के लिए मोतबर नहीं, ये हज़रत ने लिखा है, और पूरा मज़मून है जिस पर उन्होंने साफ़ दलाइल के साथ लिख दिया है कि सऊदी अरब की रुयत के एतबार से हिंदुस्तान वालों को उस पर अमल करना दुरुस्त नहीं। दूसरी एक बात, यही मुनसाइटिंग कमेटी जो जमीयतुल उलमा और हिज़्बुल उलमा पर मुत्तफ़िक़ है, ये कहते हैं कि रुयत के अंदर हिसाब का एतबार किया जाना, फ़लकियात का एतबार किया जाना है दुरुस्त नहीं। एक तरफ तो इनका कौल ये है, और दूसरी तरफ जिस वक्त वो कैलेंडर शाये करते हैं उसी हिसाब की बुनियाद पर शाये करदा कैलेंडर को वो यूज़ कर रहे हैं, हर महीने उसी पर फ़ैसला किया जा रहा है। और इसकी वजह से अक्सर ऐसा होता है कि रमज़ान का रोज़ा एक दिन छूट जाता है। हज़रत अबू हुरैरा रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अन्हु फरमाते हैं कि जिस शख्स ने बग़ैर उज़्र के रमज़ान का एक रोज़ा छोड़ दिया, वो चाहे उम्र भर भी रोज़ा रखता रहे, उस रोज़े का सवाब उसको हासिल नहीं हो सकता, उसकी बरकतें जो रमज़ान की बरकतें वो उसको हासिल नहीं हो सकती। और अक्सर ये होता है कि अगर सऊदी अरब के ऐलान पर अमल करते हैं तो उसमें शहादत महाल पर अमल करना लाजिम आता है। मौलाना बुरहानुद्दीन संभली साहब ने लिखा है कि फ़िक़्ह मालिकिया के मशहूर आलिम शेख अबू इसहाक़ शातिबी ने अपनी किताब अल-मुवाफ़क़ात में लिखा है कि जो चीज़ भी हिकमत के और अक़ल के ख़िलाफ़ होगी या उसूल शरीयत के ख़िलाफ़ होगी उस पर अमल नहीं किया जाएगा। इसलिए वो शहादत महाल जो सऊदी अरब पेश करता है, अगर उसको रद्द कर देते हैं तो ये उसूल शरीयत के ऐन मुताबिक है। इसलिए कि अक्सर उसकी शहादतें ऐसे मौके पर आती हैं जब वजूद कमर ही नहीं होता, और ये तमाम निज़ाम जो चल रहा है सूरज का, चाँद का, ये तमाम निज़ाम एक हिसाब के तहत चल रहा है। ख़ुद अल्लाह ताला सूरह रहमान में इरशाद फरमाते हैं अश-शम्सु वल क़मरु बिहुस्बान, कि सूरज और चाँद एक निज़ाम के तहत, एक हिसाब के तहत चल रहे हैं। और ये भी अजीब बात है, अल्लाह ताला ने 3 जगहों पर सूरज और चाँद का तज़किरा फ़रमाया, गर्दिश का तज़किरा फ़रमाया, और साथ में ये भी फ़रमाया ज़ालिक तक़दीरुल अज़ीज़िल अलीम, ये एक ज़बरदस्त जानने वाले का निज़ाम है। ये कोई अलटप सिस्टम नहीं, बल्कि एक मुनज़्ज़म, एक इंतहाई हिसाब के एतबार से बिल्कुल मज़बूत और पायदार सिस्टम है। इसलिए कहा जाता है कि जो फतावे आपके पास हैं, अब वो फतावे पुराने हो चुके, नए फतावे में वही शख्सियात जो आपको जवाज़ का कह रही थी, अब वो कह रही हैं कि सऊदी अरब की रुयत पर अमल करना दुरुस्त नहीं है।
MashaAllah, Imam Shoaib, if you could just give us a summary of what Mufti Sahib highlighted, it will be very beneficial for our English viewers, speaking viewers.
Just to conclude what Mufti Sahib was saying, that in those days, when initially the istiftah questions were sent and the answers were given, the answers were given based on the fact that it was put to them, and it was assumed that during the 12 months of the year in Saudi Arabia, there was an effort to sight the Hilal, and the announcements that were being made in accordance with those with that sighting. But after that, now we know that that is not the case. I mean, I know myself, when we went to the conference in Abu Dhabi, and when we asked the Sheikh, who was the head of the Hilal committee there, that we do not make any announcements in months other than the months of Ibadat. So 9 months of the year, there are no announcements taking place. I would doubt whether any mufti would actually give the answer that you can follow Saudi Arabia now, if he was to be asked that 9 months you follow the Qura calendar and then revert to a sighting a calendar for 3 months, would it be permissible? I doubt that any mufti would say that. So Mufti Sahib was saying that in those days, the question that was asked was based on the assumption that throughout the 12 months sighting was being done. Now we know that that is not the case. Hence we find the same ulama now, that when they are being asked the answers are coming different. The other important point I think that the Mufti Sahib touched upon was the fact that
mentioned about the
impossible shahadat, and the fact that the ulama of India and Pakistan did give these edicts, but the ulama in Pakistan, would they be following Saudi Arabia, or do they see it as permissible to follow Saudi Arabia, or do the ulama in India, do they see it as permissible to follow Saudi Arabia? We see
Mufti Sahib was showing.
Yeah.
Could you just give us the heading? What does the heading say? It is a fatwa that was sent to Mufti. Is it Mufti Taqi?
Yeah. Now this is a
Saudi Arab में चांद की रुयत मुअतबर नहीं.
Saudi Arab में चांद की रुयत मुअतबर नहीं. This is from Hazrat Maulana Mufti Zainul Islam Sahib, Qasmi Allahabadi, the Mufti of Darul Deoband. And the heading here is Saudi Arab में चांद की रुयत मुअतबर नहीं.
All right.
That the sighting of Saudi Arabia is not acceptable, but that's for India, he's writing.
So this is a fatwa that was sent for the people in India.
That's right.
So generally, as we are coming close to the break, we have learned and understood that the fatwa that have been sought from the different ulama, probably given that you are highlighting, if a question was posed in this way, should we follow a calendar that is not based on a sighting for every Islamic month? Should we follow a calendar that only asks people to observe the Hilal for 3 months? would it be allowed to follow such a calendar? So this Qura calendar, the criteria which has been followed by many groups as we have here in the UK, like the Central Moon Sighting Committee or the Hizb Ulama, are following this calendar. So that is why what has been highlighted is that we and Wifaq Ulama, and the criteria that has been set is to follow a criteria for every Islamic month. So keep with us watching after the break, very other important talks to discuss. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.